I'm gonna use a portion of this of your video, brother. More to life. He's Jay. He's my favorite brother on one of my favorite top brothers on here. He's from Brooklyn. I'm from the Bronx, and so he got to let a New York brother slide a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So these American women are well. She's not American, but I'm gonna say this: these first world women, that should be the title. First world women are so damn ungrateful. They're so ungrateful, man. I could go long with it, but I won't get too long with it. But you know what? I watched a video a couple of years ago on YouTube, right? Did you know that in America, I did not even know this. We talk about slavery as it pertains to black Americans in America. But did you know that at one time in America, I don't know how, I think they say it lasted for over 100 years. At one time, a woman and children, women and children were considered a man's property. If I find this video, I will. I was really shocked, and they showed how I'm talking about white men primarily. This white men were the landowners and stuff like that, right? So, and the landowner would have what? He would have animals, he would have slaves, and he would have property, pretty much. And in that video, they show that men would delete their wives like it was nothing. Primarily white men, right? She was laying around and she got lazy and she didn't want to cook breakfast anymore. He grabbed a knife, a sword. He removed her. I saw this and I was just like, wow, right? The white man wasn't putting up with nothing. I keep telling you, man, there's a little savage in every single last one of them. So and his children. And they said that routinely a lot of these men never got arrested in the first place, and if they did get arrested, a lot of these judges would say, well, it's American law. The women and the children are their property. And these dudes will walk, and I did not know this shit, because now we're in this everybody has equal rights thing, whatever. But it seems like all first world women, these feminized women, for the life of me, for the life of me, right? You know how all these first world women want to say how they're all educated and they all are easy breezy and fancy free and they're making all this money. They're doing all of this shit because a man built businesses. The vast majority of businesses on planet Earth are made by man. They don't want to talk about that. They do not want to talk about that. And they work for men. And it was men that liberated them in a lot of these first world nations. It was men that gave them equality, and then they hate men so much. A lot of them. This feminism all over the planet, and they're trying to spread it to all over the planet, which would be a disease, right? So they want to take their asses out to Dubai and Saudi Arabia and all these places where there is a patriarchy still, and not only a patriarchy, but a lot of these countries, it's a theocracy as well too. But all these women in all these first world countries are the most educated, and you are not educated enough not to take a trip to Afghanistan. You know how many stories I won't even all these white women that have traveled to Afghanistan, one by herself and she was unalived. These two pretty white girls that went to Afghanistan just trying to be tourists and they were taken and unalive. How come the most educated don't understand geography, social studies. How come they don't understand? And they do go to, they have to take geography when they're in college, right? Social studies in college, but these dummies don't understand. They do not understand that your best bet is to deal in the country that you were born in. If you were born in a first world nation, you need to stay there, because these men in other nations, they do not tolerate your crap. I knew a couple of black American women in my day, some that I know personally, right? And in the black community, black women in different time periods and different stages, long before there was internet, by the way, a whole bunch of them woke up and said, we got to get an African man, right? I know. There's people that I know personally that have done that. There's people that I've known that personally are still involved. I have a niece that is married to a Jamaican man, and I am not going to sit here and make blanket statements, but this is something that I've learned with a few of these Jamaican men is there's usually another wife and family in Jamaica. That is the main problem with a lot of these black American women. I don't know where they got this shit from, you know. Even in the 80s, you had pockets of these black women, get a Jamaican man. And mainly they would say all the time, it's because they're hard working. And I figured this out. It took me a long time to figure it out, because I still know a couple of Jamaican dudes in my area. This one was married to a black American woman, and she was using him for his money. And one day she took money out of their joint bank account. He was telling me, he was an older man back then, so he's probably dead. And I knew his Jamaican son, and he was telling me how she cleaned him out with money. See, a lot of them, they're just using them for that, and some of them unfortunately have to deal with that. But some of them, it's like she's scamming him, and some of them, they're just trying to scam her, because a lot of them marry these black women just to get citizenship. That's all it is. And the African man with a lot of these African American women, the biggest thing that I've seen over and over, I am not saying all, but in a lot of these African nations, there is no talking back to these African men. These African men were beating the crap out of a lot of these black American women, because the food didn't taste good enough, the food was too cold, it wasn't hot enough. I have personal stories of this. These stories will never make it to the internet, because Keisha is always trying to find a new man to fuck. That's just the way it is. She's always trying to find a new man to fuck. She always acts like the black American man is this evil Satan, which we are not. In my family, my grandparents made it to what, 52 years of marriage before she died first, and then he died a couple of years later. It ain't even all that serious. Did they have problems, issues? Yes, but they stayed together. They made it work. This is a whole different time now, where all these first world women feel the need. These women talk about, black woman. That video I did, a couple of video where we're gonna find Indian men. Do you not understand that a lot of Indian people from India are racist and they don't like black people? And do you not understand that a lot of them are unaliving their own women, doing the same shit? If they don't unalive you, I know Indian men in my area, they beat their wives. They beat their wives, man, right here in America. And their wives don't report it. It would be a shameful thing for the wife to go to the police and you have your name out there, because it's a whole different world than ours. Some of them beat their wives. They don't talk back like that. And if she does, he beats her. So There's a first world Becky right here from a whole nother nation. She went to Dubai, and look what happened to her because, you know,
I just want to paint a picture for you guys, but let's continue.
Outwardly, her life seemed happy, but she says she was being physically and emotionally abused by her partner, allegations that he has denied. Ms. Towie attempted to take her own life and was promptly arrested. This is her first TV interview since those
Yeah, because you get arrested for that in Dubai.
charges were withdrawn. She described what she says was her experience in her marriage.
Just a lot of control issues. Obviously, in the beginning, I didn't see anything like that. It was when we moved in together. I was cut off from my friends, my family. I wasn't allowed to be on my phone, so I was kind of cut off from the rest of the world. So then a lot of arguments, which led to physical abuse and just emotional and mental abuse. So it was really, really tough.
And it got so hard for you that actually you got to the point where you wanted to end it all.
Yeah, because I just couldn't see a way out. Nothing was getting better. It wasn't ending. So I just, at one point, I just thought, there is no way out. I can't leave. I can't do anything. I'm stuck.
And after that, you came round and you were, as I understand it, you were being given oxygen.
Yeah.
And presumably you thought you would be taken for some medical attention at that point.
Yeah. No, I woke up and they were giving me oxygen. Mm-hmm. And I was in my pajamas, so they got one of my dresses and they told me to put it on. And then I was brought straight to police station.
From your home to the police station?
Directly to the police station, yeah. I was put in a room. The police were speaking amongst themselves in Arabic, so I didn't understand anything that was going on. I wasn't told why I was there or what I was being charged with. At this point, I didn't know that I was going to be charged with anything. And then I was just brought straight up to the jail cell that was in the police station.
And there were other women in there?
Yeah, there was maybe about 50 women in there.
50?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like a narrow corridor with individual cells beside the corridor.
Right.
And it's just full of mattresses on the floor. And there's some girls sitting there. And when I went in, I sat down, I began to speak with some of them, and some of them were there for 7 months, 10 months, for very minor things. Didn't know how I was going to contact anyone. So it was really terrifying.
You hear what the woman said, right?
Did you hear what she said? I'm gonna say it again because you know, you first world women, y'all, I don't get this. We don't like first world men. Y'all got it easy in the West, man. You have it easy. She married a white woman. She was, I think it's Ireland. She was a flight attendant for United Arab Emirates. She met this Dubai guy that had a lot of money, an Arab guy. She married him. She moved into his place, and immediately, get off your phone. You can't be calling your family and your friends like that every day. You know, you're going to cook, you're going to clean, you're going to have sex with me whenever I want to, and probably you're going to pray to our God. What did they do 5 times a day? He demands all this, and all these first world women think that it's all about finding a rich man. Well, you don't think these rich men want something? And why would you find a rich man that lives in a first world nation, but it's like third world culturally, right? You are here to obey, right? You have to wear these clothes. You ain't twerking on the internet no more. You ain't making these stupid videos. You're here to be my wife, right? So she don't listen. She talks back. He hits her. All this other shit. So she tries to take her life. She passes out. They call the cops. They give her medical attention, they revive her, and then they immediately throw her in jail. Then she goes to a jail where there's 50 other women, and some of them were in that jail for months for minor things. The stuff that American women do to American men all the time. Get up in his face, screaming, throwing stuff around the house. They don't play with women in these other countries. In America, we're the only country where we have a vast majority of women worshiping simps. Other men from other nations do not do this. They don't do this. You think all these educated first world women who have all these degrees, you think that they would understand this. But no, they're that dumb that in 2024 they would go to a Muslim country and marry a Muslim man, or any other country where there's a strong patriarchy and laws against disobedience. Why would you go there? Y'all, they need to stay their dumb behinds in all these first world nations. Talking about we need to marry an Arab man or an Indian man. Really? And you want to be unalived? I mean, it's just unreal. Remember Janet Jackson? Remember when all the black women were celebrating for Janet Jackson because she married that she married that Arab guy who was a Muslim, very very rich guy. She was wife number 4, and they didn't make it because she comes there with her first world mentality. They can have unlimited freedom to be online, to be laying around. No, it's get up, clean, cook, hang out with my mother and my family, and mold yourself into this obedient woman. And first world women, they can't do this. They can't do. I don't know why they continue to try. It's just embarrassing. You cannot be you can't do what we do. You can't be a passport sis. It's impossible.